Thousands of you love my free Google Sheets budget template video, and so many of you still use it daily to save money and reach your financial goals. 1 year later, I'm back with something even better than a free Google Sheets template. Yep, that's right. I personally coded up a completely free budgeting app called Maple Budget. And let me tell you, it's more powerful than any other free budget app out there. So in today's video, I'll show you how to budget like a pro all the time. First, we'll figure out what separates good budgeting habits from bad ones. Then we'll dive into Maple Budget, my free budgeting app, and see how it could give you a serious edge in managing your money. After that, I'll talk about my free Google Sheets budget template for those of you who prefer a spreadsheet approach. Finally, we'll wrap it all up with a summary so you could earn more, spend less, and live a happier, wealthier life. If you get value out of this video, give it a like. It really helps with the YouTube algorithm. And while you're at it, drop a comment to let me know what else you'd like to learn about. And if you truly love what I shared, make sure to subscribe down below. Let's start with our financial goal. Before we even talk about good or bad budgeting habits, we need to know why we're budgeting in the first place. The most important aspect of budgeting isn't the process itself, but the reasons behind it. If you're a student, maybe your goal is to minimize expenses. If you're a young professional, you might be saving for a down payment on your first apartment. Without a clear end goal, you're setting yourself up for failure. It's like sprinting at full speed without knowing your destination. You'll probably end up somewhere you don't want to be. Let's take a moment to imagine where you want to be financially in 1 month, 1 year, 5 years, even 20 years. That vision will fuel your budgeting process and keep you on track. Now, let's talk about some bad budgeting habits you should ditch right away. As I mentioned earlier, the first is not setting financial goals. I can't emphasize this enough. If you don't know which way you're running, you'll soon run off a cliff. Second, ignoring small expenses. Spending as little as $5 a day adds up to over $1,800 over the course of a year. This includes those subscriptions you rarely use. They accumulate. Third, impulse buying. Just because it's Black Friday doesn't mean you should spend $400 on unnecessary items. I fall into that trap myself all the time. On Amazon, it's so easy to just keep hitting add to cart, but resist the urge. Be mindful of your purchases. Fourth, living beyond your means. If you're a broke student, you don't need to go out clubbing and getting stashed every weekend. If you're a young professional, maybe hold off on buying that BMW with your bonus. Live within your means. And lastly, don't be too rigid with your budgeting. I know it sounds weird considering this video is literally about budgeting, but an overly strict budget is unsustainable. You'll burn out and fall off the wagon. That is not what we want. So, what are good budgeting habits? First, set realistic goals. You probably can't survive on $10 a week for groceries, so budget what makes sense for your lifestyle. Second, track every single expense. In your first month of budgeting, you'll be amazed at how quickly small purchases can add up. So write them down and track them. Third, regularly review your budget. Maple Budget, the budgeting app I'll show you in just a minute, allows you to constantly track and see your progress on a weekly, even daily basis. Fourth, plan for large purchases. You want the latest iPhone? Save a little each month beforehand, so when you make that big purchase, you're not pulling a hole in your wallet. Lastly, the best budgeting habit is to use a budgeting app. Budgeting without a tool is like trying to fly a plane with no trading. Speaking of budgeting tools, let me introduce you to Maple Budget, the free budgeting app that I coded personally and use every single day this year. You'll find links for the app in the App Store and Google Play Store down in the description, so go download it, take a minute to get it set up, and I'll show you how to use it so you could get started on your budgeting process. You might be asking, why did I build an app? Well, I'm a software developer and I love coding. Plus, I used to track my expenses in the Google Sheets budget template I shared in last year's video, but it's a pain entering stuff on a spreadsheet from your phone. I have a habit of always inputting my expenses the moment I make a purchase. So here I was on my phone trying to add stuff on Google Sheets. If you've ever done that before or used my Google Sheets budget template on your own phone, it is a pain. I wanted something more intuitive, but even more powerful. So I made Maple Budget. Let's go through it. I have my phone here, so I'm just gonna go through the app and show you what it's like and how you could use it to the fullest potential. So once you create an account, you could start adding transactions. Say I spent $6 at Starbucks this morning. I press the plus button here and then choose a category. It would fall under coffee shops. As you can see here, there's so many categories you could choose from beauty to groceries to rent to transportation. So for our purposes, I choose coffee shops from the category list, and then I type in Starbucks as the transaction title. I might add matcha latte in the subtitle so I remember what I got, but this part is optional. Then I punch in the $6. Here's the cool part, tags. Tags allow you to categorize your transactions beyond just the categories you saw earlier. I can add the tag takeout coffee and then choose a pretty green color for it and then press save. Below that, I can add a payment method. So I paid for my Starbucks today with my American Express card, and so I'll add that as a payment method and then select it. But if I use cash instead, I could select that too. So now all I have to do is press add transaction, and voila, it's added. I remember being shocked at my spending in certain categories during the first month when I used Maple Budget. It was so easy to just swipe a credit card and not realize where your money is going until you see it all laid out. So next time you make a purchase, put it right away into the Maple Budget app right on your phone. At the top, you'll see how much you spent this month in this beautiful graph. You can add your income too, so you have a full picture of your finances. Now under coffee shops, it says set up budget. If I tap that and then tap add budget, I could assign, say, $50 for coffee this month, press save, and then close the categories page. Then Maple Budget will show me how much I've spent and how much left I have in that category. Then going to the categories page, I can see the percentage spent in each one. For example, if I budgeted $100 for clothing but end up going way over, it'll show me exactly how over my budget I am. But you can see here with coffee shops, we're only at 12% spend for the month, so we could still get more Starbucks. And so with Maple Budget, everything is super duper clear. And so that was the interface of what the Maple Budget app looks like for a brand new user like yourself. But what does it look like once you have it all filled in? Let me pop over to my personal account and you can see what it looks like in use. Remember the tags we put earlier for takeout coffee? Let's click on one of them. Let's say TNT, a grocery store. It opens the groceries tab and bam, I see all my purchases this month at TNT. I could unselect that tag and boom, the entire month's grocery bill is right there. Click on Metro and we see only the purchases from Metro. Going over to the categories page, you can see I spent a good amount on furniture this month, so it is way over my budgeted $100. But I just love how clear the view is of what I spent, where I spent it, and where I am overspending. Maple Budget is so user-friendly and there's no more Google Sheets on your phone. You have this clean user interface and it's completely free. I purposefully designed this app to be as straightforward as possible because I easily get overwhelmed. Now I have an easy to navigate app and so do you. We don't want budgeting to be so burdensome that you give up after a month. Burnout is real and we want to avoid that. If you end up loving Maple Budget, and I know you will, please share with your friends and family. That would mean the world to me. Once again, you can download it with the links in the description below. It's available currently in Canada, the US, and the UK, and coming to other countries soon. Now, if you prefer a spreadsheet approach, let me show you my free Google Sheets budget template. You'll find the link below as well. Just open it, copy it into your own Google Drive, and you're all good to go. Once you open it, it's a really easy to use template that I've relied on personally for all my budgeting prior to Maple Budget. Let me walk you through. After I make a purchase, whether in person or online, I simply input the expense into my spreadsheet. You put in the date, category, a description of what you just purchased, and how much you spent. And just like that, it automatically tallies how much I spent over the month. I could put in the amount I spent on coffee, rent, groceries, and it categorizes and tallies it instantly. Then, at the end of the month, you can review the totals of all the categories of spending to spot anything unusual or to see where you could do better. I've also added the ability to set up a budget for each category. For instance, if you aim to spend only $200 a month dining out, the template will help you stay on track. It's not foolproof. Unexpected costs do occur, but it warns you when you're nearing your limit. Perfect. I've also included a spot for income, whether it's from your job, a scholarship, or investments, so you get a full picture of your finances. Now, let's tie everything together based on what we've learned. First, have a financial goal in mind before you even start budgeting. Second, eliminate all bad habits before we begin this process. To recap, they are not setting a financial goal, ignoring small expenses, making impulse purchases, living beyond your means, and 5, being too strict with your budget. Third, adopt some positive budgeting habits. Set realistic goals, track all expenses, review your budget regularly, plan large purchases, and use a budgeting app. Then you got to see me use Maple Budget, the free budgeting app that I made myself. You can download it today through the App Store and Google Play Store with the links below. And finally, we looked at my free Google Sheets budget template, which you can copy into your own Google Drive from the link below as well. Follow these steps and you'll be budgeting like a pro in no time. If you learned something new, please like and subscribe to show your support. Thanks so much for watching. I'll see you next time. Cheers! Like a pro, budget like a pro, budget like a pro, budget like a pro.